Yesterday we finished about functions, basic functions topic. That means how to define a function we have learned. And next thing was how to execute a function, how to call or execute a function. Basic. You have any doubt in that?
No, ma'am.
It's basic stuff. So now we just want to learn different types of function definition. That means various ways or different types of function definitions. So the first one we'll say it as required arguments. Functions with required arguments. So here the main concept is whatever is the number of inputs required. So when you define a function with some inputs list right now. So we need to call the function also with equal number of arguments. We need to call the function by passing equal number of values, or we say equal number of arguments. Example, if I just said that define a sum of a comma b, and it is just trying to return the answer of a plus b. So this function has how many input arguments, how many input parameters list?
Two. A and B.
2. So it requires, yes. So that means this function requires how many inputs? Only 2 arguments. That's called as arguments, or we say inputs right now. So when we call this function, to call this function, we have to exactly pass 2 arguments, neither more nor less. Like we can't just pass less or more, nor more than that. So exactly it should be similar in the number. So if I just want to print the sum of 5 and 6, it is fine. But if you pass less number of arguments to this sum of 5, it won't give an answer. It will give an error. It will say some message saying that too few parameters. Required 1. It will give the explanation. Required 2 int and passed only 1. So there is some description given whenever we get an error messages on the screen. Same way, if you type the I want to print the sum of, and we just pass instead of 2, you pass 3. So here also again we get an error saying that too many parameters. Too many parameters. So that means you have passed more than the required ones. So the required parameter means whatever you have defined in the function, equal number of arguments must be passed exact, neither less nor more, right? You got this point? So if I say here in this scenario, sum of a list of 2 values, will it work?
List of two values. No,
I'm
ma'am.
passing how many arguments? Just check how many arguments I passed.
One. It's one list.
One. So because it's 2, that means few arguments. Because we have passed only single list object. So it won't accept that. So you have to pass more than that, then only it will accept it actually. So let us check this practically once. Required arguments. So the coding is nothing but it's returning whatever you passed. It is just using plus operator on that. Whatever you pass, it will combine them. See if it is 2 strings. Let us see if I pass sum of 5.6, will it work? 6.7, will it work? Or will it give an error?
I
I think
think it
it will
it might work.
it will work
Yes.
at the top of the
Yes, because
5.6
there
and
are
the
no
6.7.
strings, no? This is just an operator. It can be used with any number, integer type, decimal type, anything. And can I use that symbol with these type of data? Check what will happen if I pass inputs as list type. If A is one list, B is another list. So if I use plus symbol with two list, what will be the output?
It will be the
Will it be
two
error
list
or
must
will it?
be adding no, ma'am.
Yes,
Two list are to
concatenation.
be adding.
Yes, concatenation. We say that it's not addition of two lists, it is concatenation, bringing them and creating a new list object. And that list will have total how many elements? Six elements,
Six.
right? So this will work. So that means same thing is eligible to do even if I'm saying sum of tech and learn. That is also working because there we didn't mention which type of data we have to pass. We are just passing two information because this is suitable. It is suitable to add two strings. It is suitable to add two lists. It is doing the job and showing that answer back to you. But can I say print sum of 5 comma something like this? Is it okay?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. They
It
have to
can't.
be of same type.
Same time. Because they are of different type, it will definitely raise an error for you. So let us see the same thing practically once. So if I define a, so I can write such programs in the file only so that we can call it again and then check. So here it's only returning the A plus B syntax right now. So I'm checking with this step by step and I want to print this answer. So will it work or will it give an error? Will it give an error or will it work?
It will
It will give
not
an
work.
error because you just took only five
Only one data. You have given only one
argument.
integer only argument.
Okay. So I said missing one required positional argument, type error. So we had to pass at least two. Okay, because of that, it didn't get the execution. Okay, let us do this and run it. We got the
Yeah, ma'am.
answer. So missing one required positional argument for which one? B. Previously we passed only one, so A was satisfied, but for B we did not pass a value. So it is missing value. Now can I pass more than that? It is
Like,
expecting two positional arguments, but how many were given?
given,
Three
three
were
given.
given. Can't pass
Error
more.
again.
Again. Can I pass two list?
Yes, ma'am.
That means any similar type of data is okay, but can I add a tuple to the list?
No, ma'am.
That will only give an error. So it can concatenate tuple, not list to a tuple, because what is in the beginning that is important. So if you have given tuple, second one also should be a tuple, because in the beginning what is there, it's expecting the second one also the same data type. So it's giving list is wrong there. Is this clear? This is required arguments. First type of function definition. Any confusion till here?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Ma'am, what is this? Hello? Balaji, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but ma'am, the ma'am was,
Ma'am, I think she has muted the call or something.
I think, she was presenting, but she need to add, she need to add
She
one more.
still is presenting, but I think her call is muted. Her call is on mute.
We need to once
Like
call
she
her.
is doing it or
No, no. Wait, I am calling her.
no, if it's by
Maybe
mistake or
by mistake. Once we,
okay. Yeah, she came back. She came back.
Total, how many arguments are given here now?
Ma'am, we didn't hear from keyword arguments.
Okay,
Your
from that
call
time
was
you okay.
your call was on mute and we were saying but this was on mute and the call has been cut, I guess.
Okay, 1 second. So there is second variation of functions called keyword argument,
Okay.
in which we can call when we define a function with some parameters, we can call the function by passing the values along with these variable names. As of now, we are directly passing. Till now, we are just passing the required number of arguments. But I can call these functions by calling the function with its name and passing the arguments with their keyword arguments like this. So you can just mention in the calling time only which values for which variable. So whatever variables you have used in the definition of the function, will use the same variable and assign the value and call the function. So that will not have any confusion. So here, when I'm calling the function like this, I'm just giving two values. Maybe I thought this should go for breadth and this should go for length. But when I pass the values in this order, but it was taken in which order? It has saved the first value in length and second value in breadth. So my concept has gone reversed. I sent breadth first and then the length value. So it has received the first value as length and second value as breadth. So according to the sentence, it will be printed as a mismessage, a wrong message. So length is not 3. Length is actually 8 according to our requirement and breadth was 3. But when I pass this information, it has saved in a reverse order. And when we see the message also, it's coming wrong. Length is shown as 3 and breadth is shown as 8. So the display message is going wrong. Answer is correct because here there is no change. Whether 3 into 8 or 8 into 3 is the same answer. But if it was some other formula, we may get some wrong answers. Here it is just a multiplication. So when you define a function with some required parameters, you have to call the function by exactly passing the two arguments only, two values. But the value should be passed in the correct order only. Whatever the function is expecting, you have to pass the same order of values. So if it is expecting length and a breadth, you have to always send the length first and then the breadth value. So you should not pass the data in a whatever order you like. You have to pass the values exactly in the same order how they are expecting. So then only it will be like a correct programming. But if I don't know and I'm just passing in any order, my output may come wrong sometimes. Because now if I execute this program with the 3 or 1 and 3 or 1 and 8, the output will look like length is 1, breadth is 8, which is not correct. No, correct message on the screen. According to our requirement, we just gave in a wrong order. We thought for length would be 1, sorry, length would be 8 and breadth is what? 1 for us.
One.
So I sent breadth first. Instead of length, I just passed breadth first. So when I pass the information in this order, system is saving in the reverse order because it is saving in which order? Length and breadth. So whatever values you pass, it has become in a reversed order. And then output is not looking like a correct answer, right? So whenever you have to pass the arguments, if you know how many arguments you have to pass, you just have to pass in whatever you require in whichever order you like. You can pass it like this with keywords. So whatever they are expecting, the variable names you should be clear of. So if it requires a length and a breadth, you pass whatever you like in whichever order along with the keyword. So whatever keywords were used as an input parameter, you're using them while calling here. So now order is not important, right? So same way, like if I define a function saying that register, I want to do somebody's registration, online registration. So I was expecting the first name, last name, mobile, and alternate mobile or something like alternate mobile. So, or let us say the area code, area here. So whenever I display the card or something like after registration account profile details. So generally we'll say the first name is equal to something like we have to just mention here. It's a string name, so I can use plus symbol. Same way we can go for other data. Okay. So here we are just doing the so last name. Okay. So we are writing like this, the definition of it. So what should I pass to this function when I call it? I have to call this function, and generally we have to pass in the correct order. Now, if for example, it's like tech learn. So instead of that, if by mistake, if I pass learn and then tech, what will happen with that? This is the first name, this is the last name, let us say. So which will be printed as a first name now?
Now,
Learn.
learn
Learn will be
that will be
printed,
the
but
first name.
for us, yes. So
Learn
it has
is
gone in a wrong order. Yes,
then we need
because
to
what it's expecting, yes. So I'm passing in a wrong order, so it has gone wrong. And by mistake, if I give here AS Ravanagar and then I say something like the mobile number last, I'm just giving my data as I like. So what will be the output? Is there any error in the output right now?
Yes, ma'am. Too many data. Like we have only three, and I guess we are giving four of them.
Four are there. Four are required. First name, last name, mobile, and
Okay,
area.
area is
it will be
also
the
required. Okay,
same words.
India area. Okay.
It was a jumbled
Okay,
manual.
the four are passed.
All are
We won't get an error, ma'am. It will be
it,
printed.
it will be printed, but it will
Yeah, will not get in a expected. Yes, it will just mismatch. It will give the wrong kind of answer.
yeah.
For mobile, it will print area. For area, it will print mobile. So it will look something wrong. So instead of that, if user is trying to do registration and if he says very clearly mobile number, he wants to enter the mobile number, he will enter that. He wants to say first name, he will enter that. Okay. Anywhere he wants to just enter anything, any order, you can just enter. But the keywords are important here. Last name is equal to learn, then area is equal to something. Okay. So if I pass this, is there any confusion?
No,
Or
ma'am.
I'm able to pass any information in any order? So only thing what you have to keep in mind, keyword. The same word should be used as keywords here while supplying the values to them. I can't say here mobile, instead of mobile, I can't say this. I have to use the same words which are used in the definition of the function. Okay, then only it will take it. Otherwise, it will say mobile is not passed. It will give an error for you again, right? So this is called as keyword arguments, calling the functions by passing the arguments along with the keywords, which are mentioned in the function definition. So this is nothing but calling the functions by passing the values in any order. Order can be anything, but along with the keywords that are mentioned in the function definitions, right? Any confusion in this?
No, ma'am.
No,
The
no. We'll try it and then we'll get we'll get it out.
Yeah. Now, third one is default arguments. Because you should be very strong in this throughout application development. You go to Java, you go to Python, you go to any technology. This is the topic which you should be very, very clear. It is mandatory. You have to use this concept, functions. Without functions, we don't write any coding programming. Next one is default arguments. So that means while defining the functions with parameters, input arguments, we may pass, we may give some default values to some of its arguments. So that is like so that user may or may not pass, may or may not pass those values. It's like optional values. So if I say just define a function that register, and if I say first name, last name, and mobile and landline, what will be the concept here? How many arguments user has to enter while registering?
4.
All the four in the same order,
Oh,
right? Or else we have to use the help of keyword arguments. Now, if user enters, it does not have a landline. Can he register in this app?
No, ma'am. There will be shortage of an
you can't.
argument, so
So
it
then
won't.
what will they do? Can they skip that? What should
They
they
can
do?
provide none.
So they have to write something like this. But the user does not know, no, generally to type none or something. If you have a registration form, there we have a space for landline. You generally say keep
Not
it empty,
available.
no?
Like,
We generally keep it. So yes. So whenever you keep empty, the system should automatically take it as none because user does not know how to type none. Should he type in small none or it's like no or not applicable? User is not a programmer. He does not know to type none word there. No, he will not type. He will just keep it blank there, right? He is not giving any entry to that field. That field is kept empty. Does he enter the data or he'll leave it blank generally? He does not have a landline. See, in addresses also, when we have four text fields, they will mention don't put commas, don't put some special things. They have some specifications, no, generally. So
yes,
if there is a landline, can you mention there not applicable? Can you type an English word there in that text field? Will it accept? If you have a landline text field, will it accept
yes, ma'am. But
non-applicable? Not can it?
yes, but we need to keep at least the comma and we need to give the space, no, ma'am. Then only it can be applicable to the landline. If not, if we not keeping anything and we are closing the bracket, no, ma'am, then how it will take us a none or
Yeah.
applicable.
Ma'am, what's the question?
My question was like if you have these two text fields, and here we said okay name and a mobile number, and here we have landline. So if you have some registration form like this, right, and there you had a submit button. So you have typed your name, whatever name you have typed, ABC, mobile number you have written, and then you don't have a landline. What should you do? Can you type not available? Whatever you like, can you type there?
No,
Will
ma'am,
it
because
accept?
it's a number, right? It
It's a
accepts
number. If
integers.
you type
Yes.
like this, application may go wrong, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it may use it like a number, it may do something with that. Maybe it is not applicable. We should not write something like that. So either you keep it blank. Generally, we do keep it blank, right? And we click on submit here, generally. Or else if they have some drop down, if they have some default answer, not up, they should have done it. This we can't type something there, no, saying that I don't have or no landline. I can't type a number there, anything there. Can I type zero there?
No, ma'am.
Nothing we do. We don't enter. So if these are the three inputs required for registration, so they were expecting how many fields? Three fields. Or did I pass all the three information
No.
or one is
Only
missing?
only we are said.
If one is
One.
missing, you didn't pass this third information only. So, yes, so we
We
call the function in which way by passing how many inputs,
Two.
but
register
how
code
many it was expecting from you.
three.
Three.
So, will it accept this kind of registration? Will it
No,
success
ma'am.
or will it be a failure? It should fail
Three
generally
first has to
because it is expecting three and you have passed two. So, it is few parameters. So, this application should successfully register every user because every user may not have landline. So what they will do is, whenever it is kept blank, they will directly assign a number as there's something like a word as none or something as a Python program. So when they define this register method, they want to just keep mandatory as a first name. Mobile also they have to enter, but for the landline, the third parameter they are giving a default argument value as what? None. So already they assigned a value for which variable? Landline. Means they have already set a value for the third variable so that if you pass something new, if you have a mobile number, it will just replace this with this number. If you don't pass a third number, third argument, it will continue with which number? None only. So here it's becoming like an optional value. So we are expecting three arguments, but all the three are not mandatory. We can pass only two and leave third one blank. If you have landline also, you pass three arguments. So we can call this function by passing three or how many arguments? Three
Two.
arguments or two
Two.
arguments. So those who have a landline, they can pass the landline. Those who does not have a landline also will register here. So those who does not have a landline, it will take a landline as none because already they have given a default value for it in the program itself. So in the application, they have set a default value for it. That's called as default argument. So while doing this definition only, they can keep it here as assign a value to it, some value, whatever you like. So that what happens now, if user is not passing any landline, it will become none. Otherwise, it will have a value for it. So while registering, if the person does not have a landline, he can pass three arguments. So it was expecting four, but you pass three. All the three will be initialized in the first three. The last one is already having a default value. So it will initialize with this none value. Now, if somebody has even the landline number, they can do the registration process with, if they have the landline number, they can do with something like this. Fine. So this is also correct and this is also correct. So here landline is given as an optional value. You may or may not enter. If you don't enter, it will take none. If you enter something, this value will be replaced with which value now? In this position. None will be replaced by new number, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is called as default values. Just think like there is a gaming or some game competition. There is some competition conducted somewhere. Thousands of people are going for that game right now. So they had to give the ID cards for the students. Immediately on the system, they had to generate the ID cards. So whichever person came, they were just trying to ask the name of the person and the mobile number of the person. They had to take the Aadhaar number or something. They have to take an age or the Aadhaar number, something like this. So in that hurry, if somebody is not giving these details right now, they don't have an Aadhaar number, they don't know the exact name, age proof is not there. So they have to do the entry of age and all these things only when they are showing the proof of it. So like, so age is not present. So we will just say that it's not none, not applicable right now. They have not entered. And same way, Aadhaar number is also not mentioned. So we want to generate an ID card for every participant who is coming for this game and just give an ID card to them. Okay. So like instant ID card. So for this, they want to register for a game. For that, four details has to be printed on the card. But whoever does not fill the details of their name, sorry, name is mandatory here. So some ABC, person, some 987 per mobile number, age is 15, and the Aadhaar number is something. Okay, they are giving some Aadhaar number of the person. So for this person, ID card will be printed with the complete details. This ID card will have all the details beside this. So name will be ABC, mobile will be given as the proper number. Whatever you gave is, Aadhaar number also is given, age is also given. So this none is replaced with whatever age you gave. And this Aadhaar number is also given with the whatever you gave, it is going to do the same thing here. But those who do not register, who do not fill these fields, other two fields, XYZ has given this 89 this, and they did not give the other arguments. So what will happen for those people, ID cards, how is it printed? It will be empty. It will be taken as none. Those who did not give these data, it will be taken as none, and this as none, right? So the person who is not giving any mobile number, sorry, any Aadhaar card number or the age validation, birth card, birth certificate, anything, for them, we'll just give the ID card will be printed something like this. So every person will get a card or not? ID card, every participant. Or is it mandatory that they have to have the know their Aadhaar card number? Because a lot of people forget, no, generally when you go for general games, normal, not like very high games. When they go for the competition, at the time, if they ask something, they don't have it. Okay, some certificate, birth certificate, or something, residence proof. A lot of things are optional. It's not mandatory. But if they do provide, they have to print it on the card. Otherwise, they can skip that. Right? Is the concept clear to you?
Yes, ma'am. But if
Yes, ma'am.
if we enter only the one also, it will take, or he will keep the three of them, none,
No,
ma'am.
no. Yes, that's what. That's what. What is the definition we have written? How was the definition written for the registration? That is important for us. How did we define the function based on that? So if this competition registration form said you have to give the name, you have to give the mobile, you have to give the age, and you have to give the Aadhaar. So age, if they are not giving also, they are accepting them. Aadhaar also, if they are not giving, they are accepting them. So they have given default values for which information? Only two. But did they give default values for these two? So minimum is mobile and name. Without that, we can't give an ID card for some person. We can't generate. We can't say no name, no number. So now if you call the registration process without the mobile number, just if you say PQR something, and you leave it, you will not get a registration. You will not get an ID card. It gives an error. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So what is mandatory? We have to pass. These are required, we say. So what we mentioned in the definition are required, and these are default ones. So when you define and you give a value, these are called as default values. These are not keyword arguments. Keyword arguments means what? When you're calling only, we'll call the function with some arguments. When you call this and you say something like age is 13, mobile is 1234, name is some, and Aadhaar card is okay, something like this. This is called as which call? So function call with keyword arguments. So we wanted 4 arguments, but did I pass in the correct order or jumbled
But
order? Jumbled order. But what did we supply here?
but we
The keywords. Same keywords we have used. What was used in the definition of the
it will
function,
take.
right? Any confusion? Yes, it will take now. It's up to you. See, 4 are not mandatory. What is mandatory arguments? 2. A name and a mobile number is mandatory. Rest all are optional here. You may fill or you may not fill that data,
No.
right? Any confusion? The next one is variable arguments. Means we want to define a function with some arguments which need not be fixed in number. Means it should be variable arguments, variable number of arguments. So generally, if I say sum and I say a comma b, how many arguments we have to pass while calling this function? Exactly how many arguments we have to pass?
Two.
Exactly two arguments. We can't pass less or more. That's for sure, no? So can I pass more arguments to this sum of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
No, ma'am.
So I want to define a sum function which can take any number of arguments, any number of input arguments, or we say inputs, and it returns the total answer, total of all the numbers. I want this to do in that manner, so that I want to define the program in such a way that you should be able to do this, you should be able to get an answer of this, you should be able to give an answer even if you write like this. Okay? You can give any number of values and with any type of values. Okay? It should work now. So generally, will it happen in this manner? If I do like this, will it execute? Will it execute or give an error? First one.
Error, ma'am.
Error, ma'am.
Second one.
It will execute.
Okay. Third one.
Error.
Third one an error. So fifth one also is an error.
Error.
And if I say sum of 5.6 comma 6.789,
It will execute.
yes, some output will get it. Fine. So that means, am I able to pass any number of arguments, whatever we like, as we wish, or we have to pass the exact same number of arguments?
We have to pass exact same number of
Yes.
same type. Yeah.
We can mix up. We can mix
We
up
can
with
mix up.
integer, float, or interconvertible.
Okay.
Integer and float are interconvertible. Fine.
Okay.
So now I want this also should execute. We should not get an error on all these things. Just like you're taking a small calc, and in that calc we have a text field where you're just typing all the numbers. You just said 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus, you just entered all the numbers, and at a time you said equal to. It should add all these numbers and give an answer back to you, right? So to do that, we have to define a function sum with a star mark and a variable name. So just take a variable, any variable name. Just I'm taking A right now. So this is like a star means just like a reference variable, a reference to a complex data. So we say this is like whenever you give the data, now I just have to write, let me say this. I'm just printing now, I'm not printing the sum. I'm just printing A right now. Whatever you pass, I'm just trying to print it as it is. Now if I call 5, if I call 5, 6, if I call it as 5, 6, 7, whatever you pass, it will be converted into which format right now? A tuple format of data. So whatever arguments you're passing, it will be taken as a collection of data, a group of data, or as an object of tuple data type. So if you pass just one, it is wrapping only one value inside the tuple. If you're passing two also, it's like single argument only, one argument. How many ever arguments you pass, it will be taken through this star mark. That means just like we say pack set. So this is called as packing operator. So when you use the star mark with variable, if I don't use, how many arguments you can pass at the most for this variable? Only one. Now when I use the star in front of a variable, now this is like you can pass a group of data. Need not be one element, you can pass multiple elements also. So whatever you pass, this operator, what it does, if you're passing 5, 6, 7, something like this, it will immediately pack it. This is called as packing operator. So because of this symbol, what happens, whatever you pass, it will be packed inside one group of tuple object. So this, with this help of this operator, you are packing the multiple arguments passed at the function call time. So whenever you are calling a function, you are able to pass any number of arguments to the function. When it is received by this variable, because of this operator, it will pack up all of those 4 arguments or 5 arguments inside round brackets as a tuple. And this A is like acting like a reference to this object. Now A is a reference to this particular object, and this is packed because of which symbol? Star. Otherwise, these are not tuple. No, generally you sent in which format? Multiple arguments. You sent it like individually values, but because of star, they got wrapped inside tuple format. Now, if I print this output on the screen, we'll see which output on the screen. We'll see this part. Output will be like a tuple of information. So, if you are able to take any number of arguments and store in a tuple, can you find the sum of it using a formula of for loop? For each data found in the tuple, can I say sum plus is equal to D? Can we do this loop? And
Yes,
then
ma'am,
can
it
we
will keep
return the
changing. Yeah.
answer? Yes. So whatever number of arguments you pass, it's now taken with this tuple reference. Now how many values are there? It will come one by one into this and you are adding up. Again goes to the next value, stores in this and adds it up. So we are trying to sum up all these values which are found in the tuple, and after computation is over, you are returning the total answer. So because of the star or the asterisk mark in front of a variable, it's like used as a packing operator. So because of that packing operator, we are able to pass any number of arguments. It will just pack it as a single argument only. So this concept is called as variable arguments. Fine. Is that clear? Let me show it practically. So I just want to define a sum. Okay, let me write some other thing. Addition with star n. I'm just trying to print first this value and show you. So I'm calling this function by passing just one number. Then I'm passing this calling this function by passing 2, calling this function by passing more number of values. Let us see what it's going to print for you. So you can see that because of bit symbol, this star mark, packing operator. If I don't have, what will be the problem here? Which one will be correct? If we just write n, which is the correct function call out of the 3?
Just in.
The first one. So only the first one is executed. The second and the third are giving error. We got an error here itself. So here also if we pass one argument, this will run successfully. Then we'll fail in the third line, right? So if you say star, we don't have to worry about the arguments. You can pass 1, you can pass 2, you can pass any number of arguments, but can we pass 0? That we have to see. Can it accept 0 arguments for tuple? It's created. Even without values also it's created, right? So now we don't have to worry how the user is entering the values, 1 or no or more. We don't have to worry about this. Whatever you pass, the job of this function is to add these values. So let me take initially a 0, then a for each loop to get each value from this particular. I'll give this name as tuple, let me say, so that you'll understand. So it's a tuple. So whatever you pass, it will be in the tuple right now. So you're calling this tuple and each value from the tuple you're retrieving and we are adding into the, okay. And after this, we just have to go return it. Return the S. So when you return the answer, you are able to print the answer. Okay. Because it is returning, we can see the answer. Any confusion?
And go back
Any
to the
con
file. Mm.
Anyhow, we'll pass this programs you practice after the class immediately. These things, syntaxes are important. These only syntaxes, only 5 variations of functions. If you know this, later once we go for object orientation, you can do the executions easily. Any confusion?
No, ma'am. We'll try it.
No,
Balaji, any confusion?
no, ma'am. Okay.
All double. Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So using this program, can you just display? Uh, okay, I'll give some questions today after the class anyhow. Let me finish the last variation in the functions. The last variation would be lambda expressions. Lambda expressions is nothing but like a formula presentation, like mathematical expressions. So generally, a lot of functions are mathematical, like sum, simple interest, area of a rectangle. Whenever you look at these programs, these are all like mathematical. They are having some formula internally. So whenever we write these functions, they have some formula like returns the number plus number 2. Here it is like PTR by. So it's majorly this concept only, PRT by 100. Or this is like length into breadth. So there is some formula for everything. Okay. So whichever programs are generally what is a formula based, I can present it or define it like a expression, mathematical expression instead of function. So why these expressions are used is, so whichever functions are mathematical based, means using the, that is they are using the mathematical formulas. In the logic, we can present them like a mathematical expression, just like a formula instead of function. So we'll not use def keyword, return keyword, or the input brackets. These things will miss here in this concept. So in the lambda expressions, we will not use the regular concepts of def keyword or the return keyword or the input parameters in the round brackets. We don't have to do that. So let us see one function. Generally, how do we define this? In this manner. This is the concept of normal function definition. So it's a programming language. But if you want to mention it like a formula for sum, I'll say sum is equal to, I want to give it like a lambda expression by taking how many inputs now? 2 inputs. And what should I return? A plus B. So it's more or less like a formula with how many inputs? With 2, like we say, no, functions. We say functions chapter in maths and all. Function of A, comma B or something like that. So here also, we are just saying lambda expression using how many variables? 2 variables. And what should it return as an answer? A plus B. So I'm not using def keyword. There is no function name. There is no input parameters and there is no return keyword. Directly, we are writing the expression requirements and the expression which we should return the value. So this whole expression we have named it as what? Sum. Means the formula for sum is this one. Same way if I say rectangle area is equal to, so I'm just saying lambda with how many variables? Length and breadth. I'll put it in round brackets. If it's 1, you don't need that round brackets. If it is more than 1, you have to enclose in round brackets and then say whatever you want to return. The answer, you can go for that. So same way if it is square of a number. So lambda of square of a number would be equal to nothing but n into n. So I wrote three expressions. Does it look like programming functions or like mathematical formula? Other than this keyword, if you skip this keyword, it looks like a simple formula, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
these are called as definitions of lambda expressions, or defining the lambda expressions with lambda keyword and the inputs along with the return value. Okay. Now, once you define, there are three expressions we have defined as of now. I want to run them. So to run these expressions, run or execute these expressions by calling them by their names. So we have given the names to each of the expression. This is expression 1 named as sum. Expression two's name is rectangle. Expression three's name is square. So I can say I am calling like a function only, sum of, I will just pass the inputs. It will return an answer back to you, same like function only. Again, I want to call the second function, second expression whose name is rectangle area. And what is the inputs required for this expression is two values. So I can pass something like this and then execute the program. Same with the third expression name is square of something like this. We'll get an answer on the screen. So which one is better? Like a general function definitions like this? For sum and everything, whatever we wrote, is this better? Like definitions? So here we have to do like this one. Is this better, or instead of that, see I've written here, is this better or this is more easy to understand?
Lambda is more understood.
Everything.
This is better or this one is better? If I remove this word, does it look like mathematical concept?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So that's why whichever functions are mathematical computational based, we go for a lambda expression. I'll just say one and show you the answer. I'm just defining here itself, and I'm trying to call also here itself. So spelling mistake. Okay. Okay. So see, version to version it differs. In some versions, we have to give round bracket. Now this is 3.9.6. Okay. I'll check with the older versions also. So this is how we pass. And when we want to run this expression, we just have to say, so you can directly see that it's calling it. Okay. Same way, if I say area, rectangle area, I want to write like a formula only. Rectangle area is equal to, just this keyword is extra. Otherwise, it's like whatever you want to mention, just mention, and whatever is the formula with these two, you just mention that. Now, whenever you want to do the calculation of rectangle of area with whatever values you want, you can just get the answer. Clear? Same way, simple interest. So I'll just write a lambda expression with P, T, R values, given three values. So I'll just say the PTR by 100. So it's very quick. You can see that. So simple interest of 10,000 for time period of 12 months with an interest of 0.3, 0.03, something like this. So you'll get an answer directly, right? So these are the 5 variations in function definitions. Fine. Any confusion in all this?
No, man.
We have done required arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments,
Variable argument.
variable arguments,
Lambda.
and lambda expression.
Lambda expression.
Fine. These are the five. So tomorrow we'll talk about the scope of the functions and a global and local variables and programs using these concepts with both local and global combination. So we'll finish this chapter tomorrow. Functions chapter will be finished, and day after tomorrow we can start with object orientation. So just do the practice today. Any errors you can send me immediately. The screenshots you can send and ask me immediately the errors.
Okay.
Fine. Is that clear? Vinita, any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.